morning, people. It's a Wednesday. Yeah, it is. And we are here again. It's Random Thoughts with Maxine. Welcome to the Wednesday edition. Forgive my voice. It's sounding some way. Yeah. So this is what the cold decided to do to me. Treat me some way. But Charlie, we are here. It's a Monday. It's a Wednesday, people. Welcome to Random Thoughts with Maxine and welcome to the Wednesday edition. You know how we do it on the show? We talk anything, everything that resonates with us as human beings. We learn, unlearn, and then what? Relearn. So this morning, I am partially sad by some events that I witnessed some few days ago, and particularly yesterday evening. So yesterday evening, I was on Instagram. Okay, that's one of the famous places I would want to visit. Then maybe Facebook will be my second option, but almost every time I love Instagram. So I was on Instagram and I was checking some few things out, and then I went on someone's page, and there was this young lady who put, I don't know if it is a plea for help or it's a plea for people to send in comments. You know, it just felt like she was in a dilemma. And she just needed comments to kind of like get her off that mess. So this is her story, that a friend made fun of her because of the phone she was using at the time. And her friend says that because she was a pretty girl, they didn't understand why she was still using the phone she was using and that she was wasting her beauty. And since that time, she's made effort to sleep with countless number of men, all in a bid to get iPhone. So this is a story that somebody made fun of her, that she was underutilizing her beauty, and that the phone she was using then did not befit her status and the fact that she was a fine girl. And so she purposed that she was going to get an iPhone. She's been sleeping with all the men who comes her way. Fortunately or unfortunately, she's not gotten her iPhone yet. So it's like, this is bad business for her. I'm sure you might have seen the story because it was on the page of one popular person. To say I was not sad, if there's a word that go beyond sad, I think that was the state within which I found myself. And I am thinking that just a passing comment can get somebody to act and get something that ordinarily she shouldn't even be sleeping and getting it. But what's the point? Because she doesn't have money, she has to do something with what she has in order to get what she wants. And I'm wondering, what is the problem with millennials? What's the problem with young people of today? Are they battling with a lot of things that for some of us we didn't get to battle with? What is different about growing up now as against growing up then, some 20 or 30 years back? Is it all about the trends? And I ask myself, if she can go to this extent of sleeping with somebody in order to get an iPhone, and the sad reality is that she's still not gotten her phone. I mean, what else will she not do for anything that is presented to her? I read the story and I'm like, for me as a grown-up and speaking from an adult perspective, I'll say that this is cheapening. But you see, to her, it means a lot to get iPhone, to get that phone. And so I'm asking myself, if somebody decides to offer a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment at East Legon or Chasako, fully furnished, plus a car, what will this girl not do in order to gain all these things? I'm sure she would go even the extra mile to do the unthinkable. I don't know if we are losing the grip on our young people. I don't know if we as adults are doing a lot of talking. I don't even know if we know that they are endangered. Do we care? Are we that busy that probably we don't even see what's going around us? During the lockdown, I just woke up one afternoon after a nap. Then just behind my house, there were children organizing twerking competition. These children were between the age of, if I'm not exaggerating, they should be between the ages of 5 to like 13. And they were twerking. I mean, they were twerking. See, as I sit here, even if you ask me to twerk, I don't know how good I'll be at that. To say I was not worried will be an understatement. And because it's a wall that divides both houses, I just had to, for the sake of Kokonsam, get some tables, stand on it to see for myself. As the journalist would say, eyewitness reports. So I stood up, checked from behind the wall. Come and see these children. I don't know what was at stake, but it felt like one has to outdo the other. And the intensity with which they were twerking, my God. An Ashanti man will say, yes, fem. Like it's something that you can't even understand. I mean, at this point, they are so aware of their sexuality. They are so aware of the fact that it has to be sensual. They are so aware of the fact that the more you put in effort and the more you do more wild things, the better your chances of getting all the applause. I was thinking, okay, because it's young people and they are usually not even aware of what they are doing, I decided to find out if this agenda to twerk on a hot afternoon was solely developed by them. To my utter dismay, there was a grown-up sitting amongst these children, and I don't know if she was the judge for the twerking competition. An elderly young woman who ideally should be telling these children that no, this is not the way to go. She was rather saying, why are they? Go and sit down. You are in the next stage. You can't. And I was thinking to myself, have we become blinded with all the things that happens around us? And I'm thinking, fast forward in the next 5 years. Somebody's listening and say, 5 years, what can't you do? In the next year or two, will we be safe in this country? Oh, influence of social media, I get it. Oh, it's what they watch, I get it. You can't compare your time to their time because what? They are exposed, I get it. They are exposed is not funny. They are exposed, you can't even understand. If you want to understand the length at which they are exposed, I'm sure you not even get to the point you're supposed to get to. They want to outdo each other, understand? So for me, I am very reluctant to say that, oh, our time we were not like this. I can see all these things now because thanks to social media. If you knew how to twerk some years back, those times they'll call you sexy dancer. I'm sure. Because my mother will recount those times they go to the nightclub at Tito and all that. And all those girls who dance all those kind of promiscuous dances were called sexy dancers. And for you to be called a sexy dancer was kind of like degrading, because then they thought like, okay, morally you are not up there. And this is what you do for a living. Now, almost all the children are dancing some kind of dances that you wonder if they know the implication. Are they aware? Are they aware of what they are doing? Somebody says, oh, they are aware, don't mind them. What they know, you don't know. And I'm asking myself, are we sitting on concern? Can we be bothered? Oh, it is their time. Oh, let them enjoy. Or when they do it and they get to a certain level, they will get tired and they will give up. Are those enough good reasons to stay off? I think through the path on which these young people are treading, and I ask myself this: is it lack of parental control? Is it that we have gotten tired of scolding them as and when they falter, and so we are like, we are tired and we can't do this again? Do we really talk about how young people of today are gradually drifting from the path of righteousness? Now, it's like you can't trust every young child. Even if you are trusting fully, there should be a part of you that says that, oh, probably this one is putting up a show. He or she is not for real. But this is also not to say that there aren't young persons or young people who are making every effort they can possibly to stay on the path that is righteous. I hear young people say stuff, open their mouth and pass certain comments, and I'm thinking that, whoa. One young girl was just, you know how you are playful with each other, and she was just hitting the girl, and the girl said, oh, stop it. All she said in Chi was that, you think that I am hitting you so that you are happy, so that you get aroused. I'm actually hitting you so that you feel the pain. And she said this in Chi. And I'm thinking that at my age, what did you know about arousal? And she said, you know, those things that no, you can't even say it. It's not something that you should throw, a word that you should throw about on a normal day. But this is somebody in JHS telling somebody, and I'm thinking, oh, she knows that. She knows that, and she can say it. It wasn't like she said it in the privacy of where they were playing. Right in front of my store, she said it. That it's not like I'm hitting you so that you get aroused. I'm hitting you so that you feel the pain. And I was like, wow. And somebody's thinking like, why are you surprised? To say I'm surprised, no, I'm not. But the rate at which everybody seem, especially the young people, seem to be charting the same path is what is disturbing. I won't sit here and lie about the fact that we are also disrespectful young people when we're growing up, or we insulted. But you see, there are some degrees of insult you won't get there. I am so sure about that. Somebody yesterday decided after school to be insulting his classmates just behind my building. I could not just stand it. Like, you know, I think in her class she's noted for that. You know, she has such a sharp tongue. And some of the things she said, I was just slicing yam, and I'm like, God, I have to intervene. So quickly I climbed. I saw her face, pretty girl. And I'm like, why are you full of insults? Then she's just looking at me and smiling. Like, okay, so you get all the hype, right? In school. How can you tell your fellow friend in class that their nose like somebody's going to sit on to JAO? Like, I don't know how to say it. She was literally insulting the guy. The shape of his nose was like a stool that somebody who used to, like a birth attendant will use. And I'm like, hey, how can such a child formulate such an insult? And so if your mind can work like this, for me, that's the argument. If your mind can work like this and churn out insults upon insults that even me as a grown-up will have to climb and see who is that, then it means your mind should do something profitable. Have parents lost the whole control over their children? Do they really know what's happening around their children? Even for us who are not parents, Are we concerned about how these children are growing up? Or it is their time? Or we all did worse? Or brow be chai? And usually that is, for me, a defeatist approach to handling the situation. It is their time. When they get tired, they will stop. Oh, people did worse. Now they are nowhere to be found. I get it. Are the children not seeing the light around we as grown-ups? Are we even good light for them to emulate? Are we even making effort to know them better? See, for the next 2 minutes or 3 minutes, I spoke to that girl just behind my wall. I just told her that no, she's a pretty girl, and no, the insults that she keeps bringing out of her mouth does not befit her looks. See, she was shy. Secondly, I think she came to terms with the fact that it is okay to insult, but she's not come to terms with the fact that somebody who does not know her would question her and will ask her to be careful the way she spews things out. There are a lot of struggles and struggling going on with young people. Sleeping for an iPhone is the least even on the list. There are those who are doing outrageous things for nothing. And it's worrying. Maybe you have siblings. Maybe your siblings are the younger ones that you think that at this point you are tired. I know that currently there are people who are also battling with this whole, they do not know their limits, they want to go overboard, and they are doing things that do not even befit the age that they find themselves. Are we safe? The question this morning is, are we safe? Are we just okay talking about how bad they have become and how serious it is now to find young people and then koraba, children of today, this generation is perverse, they are wicked, and how can you do this and all that? Do we have a role to play in this kind of attitude? Do you think we have looked unconcerned far too long? That now the things that we do not talk about are the things that comes back haunting us. As an individual, whether you play a role as a parent, your actual parent, or you're even looking after your younger siblings, do you think you have lost the battle? We'll be right back. So we are back. We are talking, are we safe? Are you looking at your environment? What do you think of these young people nowadays? You think, oh, there is no hope for the future. Oh, Asong and then Kraba. Oh no. Are we just doing the children of today? Hey, these children of today. Are we really concerned about how to tackle the matter? Or we are just okay with the comments and all that? Does it even matter? Do we care that much? Somebody will say, hey, me a crime, I can't see my life stop. Why should I come and add this one to my wahala? If they want to go wayward, it's their lot. And sometimes that is how we treat the whole subject when we look at young people who are just going overboard. People are sleeping with people for iPhones and they're not even getting it. People are doing things. I mean, when we say people are selling their souls, it looks so spiritual. that, oh, to sell your soul, there's a big deal. Oh. But you see, these are the little things we do. They do this and get this. Say this and get this. And you know, I don't know if there is any word that I think drives a lot of young people in today's dispensation, today's world, is they are that daring. I don't know where that confidence comes from, but they are daring to the point that you not even have even anticipated that if you push them a little, they will go that far. Was it like we were not daring growing up? When your mother says sit here, you will sit here till they come. When your father says, Kwesi, be here till I come back from work, you'll be there. I mean, you dare not. But for them, no. They would want to know 1,001 reasons why they should sit there. They want to know what will happen to them if they move. So obviously they will move. And when they move, they'll get punished. And they know that, okay, after all, it wasn't even anything that was that serious. I can always get away with it. Do we think that we have just restricted everything to do with young people to just prayers? Oh, and yeah, fine, don't get it twisted. I believe in the power of prayer. I believe that prayer works. I believe that there are things that once you go on your knees and you make a plea to God, He will come through for us. But are we hiding under the veil of prayer and not doing what we are supposed to do? Can we pray and still counsel? Can we pray and still have an honest chat? Somebody will say, I don't have a mom I can talk to. I don't have that rapport with my parents. And so when I'm in a fix, I try to sort it out myself. I get it wrong, I get it wrong. I get it right, I get it right. Cool. For some of us who are blessed with the giftings of talking to young people, have we taken the pain to also invest in the lives of this young one? Don't you think we should grow tired of the fact that we have been complaining and saying all the things we have to say, rather than invest a little more of time? I don't know if there is any young person who is listening right now and is thinking that at this point, I'm at a point that I cannot go back. See, the pressures of this life will keep mounting. Even for us people who think, oh, we know this way around how we can sort this thing out. Oh, we know we can. We've been through this. We'll be fine and all that. There are a lot of young people who are not fine. Seemingly they look fine. Outwardly they look fine. But see, inwardly, should you strike a conversation with them, you realize that these people are broken pieces of jars. Who you meant? The question is, am I your father? Am I your mother? And sometimes the work that counts with even getting through to them is very enormous. Sometimes you even ask yourself, what is in it for you that you are killing yourself to talk to somebody's daughter who is already wayward? Or you are thinking, what is in for you to talk to somebody's son who is already having struggles? Have we looked unconcerned? Do you think it's time to strike? Or can we just leave them? When they get tired, they'll find their way back home. For me, I think that a little effort from our past always will do the trick. For every person listening right now who has given up on the whole idea of trying to find a lost sheep, by name a young person, do you want to go back and find them again? Have we found enough? Or the one self, we know they see top, so we don't even want to add to the number. See, it's becoming worrying because there's going to come a time that we'll all leave, and we'll leave these ones to be in charge. What sort of legacy are we leaving? And what sort of legacy are they also going to leave behind? That's the question I ask myself. Are we leaving behind young people who are full of insults, who would also transfer this same lifestyle to those behind them? Are we going to live a life of young people who are always on the twerking challenge, so that when we are no longer there, they will also train those young ones to become twerking ambassadors? Are we living young people who do not even know their left from their right, and just a simple comment of "you're a pretty girl and I am surprised you're still using this phone" will push somebody to go sleep with somebody just for iPhone, which the person did not even get? Were we more contented in the past as against those who are here now? What did we do right that they cannot find what we did right and also apply the same to their life? Are they more challenged than us? Or is there a lot of things they have to grapple with as against what we had to grapple with? Where are the imbalances? Can we find the loophole? Can we find that part that is missing, that we just have to insert it and know that, Charlie, this is a complete package? I don't know how you feel about young people going on the path of distraction. For me, it breaks my heart. It does. It breaks my heart to the very core that I kind of do like a projection in the next 5 years. Are the challenges of today's world something that they cannot? Are there something that they cannot win the battle over? The battle of being daring, the battle of going an extra mile, the battle of proving a point, the battle of outdoing each other. See, I don't know if we are safe, but if you ask me, we are not. I don't know if you are comfortable, or probably because you do not have some young people around your circle. I don't even know what you have heard, or the story you've heard about a young person that broke you, and you are still thinking, how can I help this one? How do I help this one? Does he need help? Will he be willing, or will she be willing to take the help that I'm going to render? It's time to render some service. It's time to talk to someone. It's time to start looking intently and not look unperturbed. It's time to say that, okay, I might not have done A, B, and C, or I might have done A, B, and C, but it's also time to also speak to somebody to get them back on the track that is good. Are we safe as a people? Even as a church, are we safe? Are we safe as schools? Are we safe as, even as individuals and even as private entities, are we safe? Are these children aware of the fact that they are heading towards disaster? Do they care? Do we also care? These are the questions I'm putting out this morning. And I know that you have a number of reasons, but I always say this. What's the point complain when we can do nothing? And when we know we have what it takes to do something. We have identified the problem. Good. We know that they are more there. We know that social media has a role to play in how they live their life. Good. We know that they are doing things because of the influence of peer pressure and all that. Good. But how do we help? How do we come in to salvage the situation? Or we are waiting for nature to take its course. When they get to the point that they realize that they have been foolish all this while, they will come back to the path of righteousness. Are we safe even as people who would want to be parents in the future? For me, I look at this world, I'm thinking, gosh, what if I bring girls into this world? They are obviously going to also deal with such issues that I have raised. Are parents doing enough? Or they've just shirked the responsibility for teachers to do at school? Are parents investing enough time in their children? Or it's all about looking for bread and butter matter? It's all about looking for the money. But see, you might get the money at the end of the day. All the things you are craving for, just for the welfare of that child, you will get it. Granted that you get it, you will come back to meet a son who is shattered. How busy looking for money. You will get the money and come back to meet a daughter who has gone wayward. What a chain. And bringing them back will be very difficult. Are we training our children even in the fear of the Lord? This one there is a cake. There's nothing like train up a child the way he should go, so that when he goes, he will not depart from it. Those quotation is no longer relevant in today's world. Really? Are these children after God's own heart? Yes. But are we helping them to discover how God loves them to the extent that he will bring them as gift onto this world? Look through your environment, your immediate family. Can you identify a young person? Can you invest a little bit of time? Can you start a conversation and you will be surprised at the revelations that you get just because you decided to waste a little bit of your time on that person? If they are not twerking publicly, they are twerking secretly. If they are not insulting all the children around, they are insulting somewhere else that you'll be shocked when you find out. If they are not sleeping with people for iPhones, they are probably doing something else for other things that you are not even aware of. Can we set our eyes on these young people? Can we not grow tired of the fact that they are too much work? I get it. But it's better to salvage the situation than to wait for the situation to get worse before you decide to say, help is here. So there's a comment from Selom Senya, and he says that posterity will judge us. They are obviously learning from us. We see them and either keep mute on it or even to the extreme laugh over some of their actions. Yeah. And so that's it. We see them and we laugh. And you know, with the older folks, and then crab by the shed, why in the tree home? Oh, see how he's pulled his panty down. See how he's these are all the comments that flies around. Oh, so was this it's in the papa with you? And you know, we say things like this just to create humor and laughter. But you see, it takes just hello, and you know, see, people have had terrible experiences with wanting to talk to young people about one thing or the other. But that must not deter us. It must not, because you see, the influence from their cortex is solid. It's solid to the extent that just one person can influence 10 other people to go a certain road. Just one comment from somebody that you are pretty and you should be using iPhone got that person to act. You are listening and say, this girl, she's not correct. Is she that gullible? Somebody says something or you're acting upon it. See, you'll be shocked. For her, she's been able to come out to say that this was her motivation. But you do not know in other areas of cortex what people are saying to other people to get them to do things that they are not supposed to do. I get it when you go to church and say, so the young people are going to school, let's pray for them. Oh, as for the prayer, we pray for them. Oh, don't we pray for them? We pray for them. Now you see, there are times you just look at a mom and you are realizing that this woman has just checked her responsibility. And she wants to hide under the guise of prayer to make things better. When you know that you are contributing factor to what the person is doing. There are parents who are not willing to take up the blame. So there was this time past, there was this girl who was bleaching and all that. The last time I read her mother too, I said, oh, keep quiet, let me keep quiet. Because see, sometimes the examples are around them. And so when you go and you are saying, oh, do not, I mean, the one who even gave birth to her, who is supposed to know better, who is supposed to say that, madam, this is not the way to go, is rather contributing. And so you are thinking, how do we come in to salvage the situation? So some months back, I decided to, I was going to visit my grandmother, and then I met this elderly woman who was ahead of me, and then I just greeted. I learned that thing when I went to Sunyani. It was so funny, eh? Like everybody sees you and they greet you, and I was thinking like, we don't do this in Accra, you know. So I was like, this is so nice. Like the person sees you and they greet you. And it wasn't like it was Sunyani town proper, you know. So I was like, okay, this is cool. So now I unconsciously picked that thing up. Once I passed by you and an elderly person, I just greeted. So when I greeted, she just said this in she said like, Mary, I want to say who you say. I'm like, okay, thank you. Like she no one pull. You know why I'm saying this? The woman had bleached and her face has become, and she just said it. And in my head, I was thinking that, at this age, do I still want to bleach? But you'd be shocked if she had said that, oh, I think you're too dark, you should lighten up a bit. It might probably have fell in my ears and I will be acting on it. But she just said it. And you know, when somebody says it from an angle that they have experienced, it carries weight. So I see her face, damaged faced, of course. And she was telling me that, oh, she likes the way I'm dark and that I should never ever attempt, or I should not allow it to even cross my mind that I want to lighten up a bit. And I got it. So if somebody goes into fire and tell you that fire is not easy, and they tell you, would you rather hold on to what they are saying? Imagine she was dark and she was telling, I would have even taken it with a pinch of salt, that, oh, this is okay. But the person, I'm sure if I had time, she would even tell me her regret for bleaching. But it was just within that split second. And she just said that. So if we can all drop one thing or the other, we can all be a little vigilant. We can all muster courage and talk to that person in a way that is full of love. It's not like you want to scold and disgrace them, but you say it out of love. You say correct in love, right? So you correct in love. I'm sure that we'll be making headways. Please, it's time to save one young person from sleeping with somebody to get a phone. It's time to distract the whole agenda of twerking challenge that is happening just because we decided to speak to one of the girls who can also influence the others to think just like she's thinking. It's time to draw an attention to one young girl who is full of insult and just let them know that insult is not the way to go. It's time. I honestly think it's time. Will it be easy for us? Yes and no. But you see, at the end of the day, when all is said and done, there's a part that I like, that we made an effort. It's not enough saying posterity will judge us. It will judge like if it judges us like, oh, we did, you know that at least we tried. Because for me, and from where I sit, I think it's no longer safe. Just when you are correcting one person, another person too is misbehaving. And it feels like it's a chain of events that you've all decided. One is insulting, one is not dressing properly, one is twerking, one is sleeping on the... So it's like a whole disease that has attacked a lot of them. Please, can we rise? And can we stop being selfish? Sometimes we are just inward looking. And we say things like that. We didn't get anybody to advise us, but we turn out well. Maybe grace kept you. Must we continue sinning because grace abounds? Must we allow them to do what they do or what they want to do because the same way we didn't get lost or we didn't get consumed, they will also not be consumed? Can we act right? Can we save a young person just by our actions and inactions? Even as adults, the question is, are we setting good examples? And that's the part that this topic brings me to. So whoever is sleeping with you probably is an old person, right? And should know better, right? And should act like an older person who has sense, right? But you see, you'll be shocked to the core that these young people go to people who are older, thinking that they are going to get advice and get their life on track, only to be messed up by these same old people. They are old people who come under the guise of I am advising you. I am your godfather. Take my advice. And they will take advantage of the fact that you are in a needy position and use you. There are old people who young people have thought that this is a father figure. This is a mother figure. And the person comes around you and is thinking that with this man, with this woman, I'm sure I'm going to get some sound counseling. Only to realize that it's a fiasco. Please, old people and people who are in positions of trust must do better. We must do better. Young people are shunning away from some older people and we're thinking, oh, this one has wisdom to give. Only to realize that the person himself is not as wise as you are seeing. And there are those who are even destroying the matter. They are spoiling the matter. They are spoiling the matter. You are old. Your grandchild has come to you that they need iPhone. You are sleeping with the person because you have what it takes to buy the iPhone. And so you want to spoil the matter. What is that? So there's one from Frank. And he says that it's good to watch the kids fool and twerk small. It only makes them explore and become independent when they grow up. So this is Frank talking about children exploring and becoming independent. See, for me, I see they're already exposed, granted. And I don't know what twerking does with independence. Okay. So for all those who know twerking, I wish I could define what twerking is. If you are looking for independence in twerking, then I'm sorry, I don't know which twerking Frank is talking about and which twerking I'm talking about. But if it's the same twerking we are all talking about, then see, I can understand. Even nowadays with competitions that has to do with dancing, people are warned not to show their backside to the audience or to do any movement that is sexually suggestive. Because they know that, see, already that, when you watch, thanks to social media, and you watch a lot of movies, and you watch it, people are already twerking. And so, see, we already been bombarded with what it means to deal with an environment that has already splashed all these things for children to see. But you see, there's something about children. One is their innocence. That is what makes children children. So if me, Maxine, I decide to twerk, I'm a full-grown woman, I know the implication. This child will twerk in a way that is sexually suggestive. An irresponsible man somewhere will look at this and think, oh, this lady is okay for consumption. And by the time we realize, they are just planting ideas into their head. And we are thinking that, how do we protect the innocence of these young ones? At age 5, you should be writing ABCD and be writing my first copybook and be doing things for your own human development. At age 5, between age 5 and age 50, you don't need twerking challenge. Twerking challenge is for people who are grown and want to do their own thing. And I'm sure that people are poor and say, you know, as a child, you're supposed to behave like a child. And so once you do anything that does not befit the category of a child, it raises eyebrows. So for me, I get it. The only part of the story that got me angry was the older person who was jeering them on and saying that, where do you face? Because I am thinking that she does not know the implication of the hype she's giving to the children. And so, because one person wants to outdo the other, guess what? They'll do worse things. And that's it. Already, music videos are bombarding us with explicit content. That, whether there's a PG or whether it's 14, there's no mom to check. And so they watch everything. So the media itself has flooded itself with these things that the children even consume on a daily basis. Watching it is a problem. Living it is a problem. Acting it is a problem. And so we try to create a balance. We try to find where there are loopholes. We try to keep some things off their radar so that they know that at this point you can't do this. Can we do a better job? For all those adults who have led children astray, young people astray. When I say children, I'm not talking about toddlers. I'm talking about once a person is between the age of 0 to 18. Teenagers, toddlers, and whatever the category takes care of, anybody who falls within the bracket of a child needs to be protected. Can we protect these young ones? Just like God protects his own from challenges, from difficulties, from every storm that rages at us, can we also protect these ones? Is it not appropriate to say that God knows that we are now grown, so we are on our own? But no, he doesn't leave us. He still protects us. And it's the same protection that must trickle down. Once we are being protected, you have to protect someone. For every young person who is struggling at this point in time, for any person who is listening, who has a relative, a sibling, a niece or a nephew who are going through difficult moments because you don't seem to see them very well, it's time to work on them. Work on them as if your life dependent on it. Work on them as if this is the assignment that God himself has given to you. Work on them and see yourself yield results. It's time to save one. It's time to save one, just one. It's time to put in a little bit more effort. It's time to start the conversation that is not too pleasant. So the small girl who was ahead of twerking challenge came to the shop to buy. I just asked, you go to church? And this is how we have failed to bring evangelization even to the doors of people who need Christ. These children need to be spoken to. Sometimes, see, the bad part is you don't even know what they are doing. Just like Frank would say, they are fooling. But you see, it is the fooling that would get serious. Yeah. It's the dear grokeke that will get serious. The dear grokeke is what, if not dealt with, will escalate into something else. And they're like, when did he become like this? So that is how come when we are children, we'll betide you if you decided to wrap a paper and do cigarette with it. Even if it's a powdered chalk, you get beaten because the person is like, no. If you are rolling powdered chalk and using matches to light rolled exercise book, and saying that smoke and see, do it and see if smoke will come out of your nose, it's a way of telling you that no, if we don't take care, you'll be a chain smoker. Let's nip that in the bud before you get out of hand. And some people attest to the fact that is what even helps them, because they were caught once rolling paper and matches, and since then, if they see real cigarette, they don't know even if it's real cigarette. Because you see, the person who stopped you foresaw that if they don't do that, there's a possibility this action would escalate. And that's what we are talking about. There are things they are doing around us. It might sound funny and all that. But you see, can we do a projection? If we are unable to talk about this twerking matter, if we are unable to talk to the person that the fact that you are beautiful does not mean that you can get everything with your beauty. I mean, you can. That is if you want to. But mommy, that's not the way to go. Well, let the person know that, see, I do not thrive on my beauty to get things done. Can use other means. I can work hard. I can be content with my phone that I'm using now. I cannot allow pressure to push me into doing something now. And that's it. Pressure is mounting. Pressure will mount. But can we always choose the path that is less traveled? Are they not willing to endure? Oh, didn't people make fun of us in school? I pulled my phone out on Sunday. The young girls in my church were laughing at me. And we're just laughing about it. But I just looked through that scenario. I was like, imagine I was a young person. I would have felt it. I would have felt it. But because I was old, I didn't see anything because the mind is matured. And so you know how to go about it and just allow the matter to die. But I was just taking it in. I'm like, imagine I was young. That would have pushed me. Is it that to give your parents extra pressure to get it? If they can't get it, there's always a plan B. And that is the part that is worrying. They are always using their plan B. They must get it at all costs. They must find it at all costs. They must live that kind of lifestyle at all costs. For some of us, maybe we didn't get to even think about the fact that there can be a plan B. But now they have plan B, C, and D. And this is how daring they are. If Kofi does not sort me out, Koku should be able to sort me out. If Koku does not, yeah, she'll sort me out. So one child has 4 different people he can always run to, or she can always run to should the need arise. We are not safe. We are not. We are not at all. And we need to be up and doing. We have to be up and doing. No matter how small it might look, just make an effort to brighten that corner wherever you are. Just speak to someone. Invest a little bit of time. Let them know why they should or they should not do the things they do. And please assign reasons. For us, don't sit here and sit here. We never ask questions. And so we lived with that. There are things that we're told not to do. We didn't even ask reasons. But now they are asking reasons. If you don't even give them, they will assign reasons. And that is a part that we need to nurture very well. That you just don't say, you can't sleep with a man and get an iPhone. But you can give the reason why you should not sleep with a man and get an iPhone. And give alternatives to why sleeping with a man is not the only source of you getting an iPhone. Let's do a better job. I'll be right back. Okay, so it's Wednesday, people, and it's Random Thoughts with Maxine. This morning we're talking, are we safe? Are we safe? Like, are we safe? The trend and the ways, the lifestyles of our young people is something that's really worrying. I don't know if you've taken cognizance of the fact that Charlie, day in, day out, is getting intense. It's getting more difficult with them. They are becoming more daring, and they are faced with challenges that almost every time they cannot really handle on their own. And the big question is that why is it so? And we are talking about the fact of influence of social media and all the things that they have to grapple with. What can we do as human beings and adults? We have had the enough of, non-crabba, oh, children of today, oh, don't mind them, oh, they are so they won't go more. Oh, no, you see, those ones, we have grown past it. Now we want results-oriented approach. It's not insult-oriented, models. Results-oriented, that's what we want. Do you want to be an answer to a confused young person's situation? Can you offer advice? Oh, if you give them advice, they don't take. I've given 1 or 2 like this, then and all that. But you gave, and that suffices. You spoke to the person. At least you did. But for you not to speak at all, and only be comfortable in punching holes and making projections of who will die and who will get pregnant and who will deliver at a very tender age, or who will give birth at a can we do something more than, can we be proactive? Because see, the wind that is blowing, it's not good wind though. And that's what we do on Peny Radio. We give hope for the hopeless. You are listening right now, you have a niece or nephew whose situation you think is hopeless. It's not. Sometimes the person just needs a word. The person just needs attention. The person just needs love. The person will just need, why are you doing this? The person will just need, can we talk? I'm here to listen. I have time. Come and see me. And they'll be good to go. Thank you so much for your time, as always, and thank you so much for always connecting with us on Mondays and Wednesdays. I'll be back, God willing, on Monday with a guest, and keep your fingers crossed for something bigger on Monday. And please make good choices, okay? Make a choice to talk to some young person this day. Make a choice to say a prayer. Make a choice to invest a little bit of time. And I'm sure that we'll be safe. Currently, we do not look too safe, but Charlie, there's hope for the future. We'll be safe. Vivian, fine. Thank you, and I'm out of here. Bye.